Imagine for a moment that everything holding you back, every fear, every doubt, every "I can't," isn't real. What if I told you that the power to break through every limitation you've ever faced doesn't live in the world around you? It lives inside your mind. The truth is, most people go through life thinking that circumstances control them, that luck or fate decides who wins and who loses. But that's a lie. The real power, the unstoppable force that can move mountains, is already inside you. It's the ability to command your thoughts, to master your emotions, and to make your mind a weapon for creating extraordinary results. The mind is an incredibly powerful tool, far more influential than most people give it credit for. Every thought we entertain, every belief we hold, and every perception we form shapes the way we experience reality. Yet, most individuals underestimate just how much control they have over their own lives. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep, our minds are constantly filtering information, interpreting experiences, and directing our actions based on the framework we have established for ourselves. The first step in understanding the true meaning of mind over matter is realizing that our mental state is not just a passive observer of life, it is an active creator. When you begin to recognize that your mind can influence your emotions, your decisions, and even your physical performance, you unlock a level of power that most people never tap into. People often blame external circumstances for their limitations, saying, "I can't succeed because the market is bad," or "I can't reach my goals because of my upbringing." But in reality, those external factors are not nearly as influential as the internal narrative you have cultivated. Every successful person you admire has at some point faced obstacles that seemed insurmountable, yet they were able to push past them because they harnessed the power of their mind. The mind has the ability to reframe challenges, transform failures into lessons, and turn fear into fuel for action. It can condition the body to perform beyond perceived limits. It can focus attention on the solutions rather than the problems, and it can maintain clarity in situations that would normally induce stress or doubt. Training the mind is not merely about thinking positively or repeating affirmations. It's about consciously shaping thought patterns, strengthening mental resilience, and cultivating unwavering belief in your capacity to act. When the mind is aligned with purpose, determination, and a clear vision, it becomes a force that can move mountains, literally and figuratively. Each decision we make, each action we take, and each challenge we face is filtered through the lens of our mental framework. By learning to direct the mind intentionally, by consciously choosing what to focus on, and by refusing to let fear or uncertainty dictate outcomes, individuals can dramatically shift the trajectory of their lives. The mind, when properly understood and harnessed, is not just a part of who we are. It is the driving engine of possibility, the source of creativity, innovation, and the ultimate key to overcoming limitations. Developing this awareness is the foundation for unlocking the principle of mind over matter, because without acknowledging the mind's profound influence, no strategy, plan, or effort can achieve its full potential. Most people go through life carrying invisible chains, limitations, that are not imposed by the world, but by themselves. These limits are created by beliefs, assumptions, and stories that we tell ourselves about who we are and what we are capable of achieving. The truth is that the barriers we perceive are rarely fixed realities. They are reflections of our mindset. From a young age, we are conditioned to accept certain boundaries, to follow paths that seem safe, and to doubt our own potential. We are taught to listen to voices that say, "You can't do this," or "This is impossible for someone like you." And over time, those voices become internalized until they feel like undeniable truths. But the reality is that the mind is remarkably flexible, and what feels like a limit is often a challenge waiting to be reframed. The moment we recognize that these limitations are self-imposed, we gain the opportunity to question them, to push past them, and to expand what we once believed to be impossible. Most breakthroughs in human history, whether in science, art, sports, or business, have occurred because someone refused to accept the boundaries that everyone else saw as unbreakable. What separates those who achieve extraordinary results from those who remain stuck is not talent, resources, or luck. It's the courage to challenge the self-imposed limits that everyone else accepts without question. Limitations exist only when we give them power over our choices, our actions, and our vision. When you start seeing obstacles not as walls, but as signals for growth, your perspective shifts entirely. Every "I can't" transforms into an opportunity to ask, "How can I?" Every failure becomes a lesson, every setback a chance to strengthen resolve. To break through these invisible barriers, it requires awareness and intentionality. You must notice the thoughts that limit you, recognize the patterns that hold you back, and consciously replace them with beliefs that empower you. It also demands action because awareness alone is not enough. You must take steps that stretch your comfort zone, that test the limits of what you believe is possible, and that demonstrate to yourself that you are capable of far more than you've allowed yourself to imagine. Self-imposed limits are the greatest obstacle most people face, yet they are also the easiest to overcome once you realize that the key to freedom lies not in changing the world, but in changing the way you perceive it and in choosing to operate from a place of possibility rather than restriction. Once this shift occurs, opportunities expand, confidence grows, and the impossible begins to feel attainable. Our emotions and thoughts are not just internal experiences, they are the architects of our reality. Every action we take, every decision we make, and every outcome we experience is filtered through the lens of our mental and emotional state. Emotional mastery is the cornerstone of true power because without it, even the most brilliant strategy or plan can crumble under the weight of fear, doubt, or distraction. Many people underestimate how deeply their emotions influence their physical performance, their relationships, and their ability to achieve goals. When the mind is unsettled, indecisive, or consumed by negativity, the body follows suit. Energy wanes, focus diminishes, and opportunities slip by unnoticed. Conversely, when the mind is trained to cultivate clarity, confidence, and resilience, it can propel the body to perform at levels that once seemed impossible. Focused thought, coupled with emotional discipline, allows individuals to harness their mental resources toward creating precise outcomes rather than reacting impulsively to circumstances. This is not about ignoring feelings or suppressing them. It's about understanding them, interpreting them accurately, and using them as fuel rather than letting them become obstacles. Every great performer, leader, or innovator has learned that emotions are signals. They tell you what matters, what drives you, and what needs attention. But they do not have to dictate the limits of what you can accomplish. By consciously directing attention and cultivating emotional awareness, you gain the ability to navigate challenges with poise, make decisions with greater accuracy, and persist when others give up. Thoughts, when aligned with purpose and intention, generate energy that translates into tangible results. Focused mental rehearsal, visualization, and deliberate mindset conditioning are powerful tools that shape not just actions, but also physiological responses. The body responds to the mind's direction. Stress levels, endurance, creativity, and even physical healing can be influenced by the quality of our thoughts and the stability of our emotional state. People who have mastered this principle are able to approach situations that would paralyze others with a sense of control and clarity, turning pressure into performance. They understand that mental and emotional alignment is the secret to overcoming obstacles, breaking habits, and achieving goals that seem beyond reach. This mastery creates a feedback loop. Focused thought strengthens emotional resilience, and emotional resilience sharpens mental clarity, producing results that reinforce belief in one's own power. When the mind and emotions are consciously directed, limitations dissolve, confidence soars, and the ability to shape reality through deliberate action becomes unmistakably evident. Cultivating this synergy between thought and feeling is not instantaneous. It requires awareness, practice, and commitment. But once achieved, it becomes the foundation for unlocking potential that was previously hidden, transforming challenges into stepping stones and ordinary effort into extraordinary results. The concept of mind over matter is often misunderstood as simply thinking positively or wishing for better outcomes, but its true power lies in the alignment of thought with deliberate, massive action. It's not enough to hope, visualize, or dream if your actions remain inconsistent or half-hearted. The mind can create the blueprint for success, but the body must execute it with focus, intensity, and persistence. Every breakthrough, every achievement, every extraordinary result in history is the product of more than just mental conviction. It is the fusion of belief and purposeful action. When the mind is fully engaged, it becomes a command center, directing energy, focus, and resources toward objectives that matter most. Thoughts alone generate potential, but action converts that potential into reality. The most successful individuals understand this principle intuitively. They know that the mind can be trained to spot opportunities anticipate challenges, and develop strategies. But the ultimate test of power is the courage to act, repeatedly and without hesitation. Acting with intention requires more than discipline. It requires a deep understanding of priorities, the willingness to confront discomfort, and the ability to persist when results are not immediate. Many people fail to achieve their goals because they stop at inspiration, mistaking excitement for execution. The truth is that massive action transforms ideas into momentum. It signals to the subconscious mind that the thought is serious, that it is worthy of commitment, and it activates patterns of energy that propel progress. Every step taken, no matter how small, compounds over time, reinforcing confidence, sharpening skills, and opening doors that were previously invisible. The mind is a navigational tool capable of guiding action with precision, but without consistent, purposeful movement, potential remains dormant and opportunities slip away. This is why true mind over matter is as much about doing as it is about thinking. The combination of clarity of vision, unwavering belief, and relentless execution produces results that seem miraculous to the untrained observer, but to those who understand the principle, it is simply the natural outcome of alignment between thought and action. Acting in this way requires courage, self-awareness, and a refusal to be limited by fear, doubt, or societal expectations. It is in the commitment to act decisively, to take ownership of outcomes, and to engage fully with the process of creation that the power of the mind truly manifests, showing that reality itself bends in response to focused, purposeful effort guided by an unwavering inner conviction. Mastery of this principle transforms ordinary life into a journey of expansion, achievement, and impact. And it reveals that the distinction between the possible and the impossible is often determined not by circumstance, but by the willingness to act with full intent, courage, and relentless persistence. Awakening the power of the mind requires more than understanding its capabilities. It demands a willingness to step into discomfort, challenge old patterns, and take full responsibility for one's life. Most people live within familiar routines, clinging to habits, beliefs, and behaviors that offer a sense of security, even when those patterns limit their potential. Growth, transformation, and true mastery begin the moment you refuse to settle for comfort at the expense of possibility. The process of breaking free from ingrained patterns is not easy. It requires courage to face uncertainty, to confront fear, and to question long-held assumptions about what is possible. True mental power emerges when you accept that the responsibility for your life rests squarely on your own shoulders. No one else can think for you, act for you, or choose your destiny. Once this awareness takes root, excuses lose their grip, and the focus shifts from blaming circumstances to creating solutions. Embracing personal responsibility also means acknowledging that failure is not the end, but a teacher, a feedback mechanism guiding you toward refinement, growth, and resilience. The mind, when trained to embrace responsibility, becomes an instrument of intentional action rather than reactive behavior. To awaken this potential, one must cultivate habits that reinforce self-discipline, mental clarity, and emotional resilience. This includes consciously choosing thoughts that empower rather than diminish, making decisions that reflect long-term vision instead of short-term comfort, and taking actions that consistently push boundaries. Discomfort is not a signal to retreat. It is an invitation to expand, to grow stronger, and to redefine what you believe is possible. Every challenge, every obstacle, every moment of uncertainty is an opportunity to exercise the mind's power, to prove to yourself that imitations are constructs, not realities. People who have mastered this principle do not wait for motivation to strike. They generate it from within. They understand that progress is forged through action, reflection, and relentless commitment, and that the combination of awareness, responsibility, and persistence produces results far beyond what ordinary effort can achieve. The journey requires patience, courage, and consistency, because old patterns resist change and the mind naturally gravitates toward comfort and familiarity. Yet, the rewards of stepping into this process are profound. Increased confidence, expanded capability, heightened clarity, and the freedom to design a life according to your highest vision. By embracing responsibility, confronting discomfort, and deliberately shaping thoughts and actions, you unlock a power that allows you to rise above limitations, transform challenges into stepping stones, and operate at a level of effectiveness and influence that was previously unimaginable. This awakening of personal power is not accidental. It is the result of conscious choice, deliberate practice, and a refusal to remain confined by old narratives or self-imposed barriers. Once cultivated, it becomes the engine driving extraordinary achievement, resilience, and fulfillment, creating a life that reflects the mind's true potential rather than the limitations it once accepted.